Today, we are so excited to be in discussion with Special Olympics. Today, first of all, let me just do an introduction. My name is Larissa Green. I'm the content marketing manager here at PhotoShelter. I am currently in Queens, New York. If you are somewhere cool in the world or you're on your mobile, we'd love to know where you're coming from. So we would hope that you will hop into Slack today to join us in conversation with the speakers, Sydney White and Robert Jones from the Special Olympics team. We're going to be talking with them today to honor National Disability Employment Awareness Month, a holiday that was highlighted and started in the early 40s, most recently elongated to a month-long celebration in the late 80s, deemed by Congress. And we're hoping to honor that continued celebration in our nation today by discussing with Sydney and Robert from the Special Olympics team, who are on the content team, to discuss how they work together to create a more inclusive environment for everyone, for the athletes at the Special Olympics and for their communications and content team members. As I mentioned, we have a Slack channel for all to get involved in the conversation. We'd love to take some questions while Sydney and Robert take us through their presentation today. So if you would like to, I know I see a couple more people joining. There's about 50-ish people here with us so far. Feel free to join our conversation on the PhotoShelter for Brand Slack community. You can go ahead and, if you're not joined yet, you can go ahead and put in this link, I think it's below me, bit.ly/PSB Slack. Or if you're on your mobile, if you're watching on your screen and you have a phone, go ahead and take your phone and scan that QR code right there, and it'll take you right to our live chat channel discussion. So now I'm going to introduce our guest speakers here today. Sydney White, who's the Director of Content and Storytelling at Special Olympics, and Robert Jones, a longtime team member on the content and communications team, and a veteran sports athlete with Special Olympics. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having us. I'm going to share my screen.
Sure.
So just bear with me to get the right screen up.
Sure, take your time.
All right, is that the correct one?
That's perfect. That looks great.
All right, so Bobby, why don't you take it away with introducing yourself?
Okay. Hi, my name is Robert Jones. I'm a Special Olympics athlete from Virginia. I work in the marketing and communications. I have been in the main office for about 24 years, and I've been working with Sydney as my boss.
Yeah, so I joined the team about 3.5 years ago as the Senior Director of Content and Storytelling for Special Olympics at the headquarters. And Bobby was one of the first people who really helped me learn the lingo and how to find everything. And we have a lot of events, as you'll hear. And so Bobby really helped me learn the difference between all of them. And as we get started, I'd just like to remind everyone that Special Olympics is a movement for people with intellectual disabilities. That's cognitive disabilities. We're often confused with Paralympics, which is physical disabilities, but we'll be talking about intellectual disabilities today mainly. And Bobby, let me get... Here we go. Bobby can read the mission statement.
And the mission statement is, the mission of Special Olympics is to provide year-round sports training and athletic competition in variety Olympic-type sports for children and adults with intellectual disabilities, giving them continuing opportunities to develop physical fitness, demonstrate courage, experience joy in participating in the sharing of gifts, skills and friendship with families and other Special Olympics athletes and the community.
So Bobby, do you want to talk a little bit about our founder?
So Mrs. Shriver is the founder of Special Olympics. Her sister, Rosemarie, inspired her to start Special Olympics because she had an intellectual disability, and the reason for that is because that Mrs. Shriver saw that she wasn't being treated well, and so Mrs. Shriver wanted to do something more about that.
So go ahead.
Did you want to? So Mrs. Shriver, back around the 60s, started a day camp in her backyard, which was called Camp Shriver, and so she was located in Bethesda, Maryland, and she would have people with disabilities come to her house and teach them sports and different things, and so during that time, Mrs. Shriver wanted me to do a logo, and the logo that you see, the green one, is the one that I did for her, and she really liked it because it was very simple. There wasn't, anything that was really kind of complicated about it, and it just kind of fit at that time. So.
And you'll see these last two slides have the hashtag EKS100. Mrs. Shriver, would have been 100 this year, so we're celebrating with this hashtag. And if you search with the hashtag EKS100, you'll find a lot of content celebrating her life and achievements. And some of that was collated, designed, and produced by Bobby. If you see any videos of people talking about her legacy and her impact on them personally, that was probably a video that Bobby produced. He came up with the concept and he asked them questions and helped me figure out which of the answers we should send to the editor. So at Special Olympics, we're known for our sports, as Bobby talked about, but we do sports and more. On the sports side and the more side, we are a global organization worldwide. We have 7 regions, so Africa, North America, Latin America, Asia, Pacific, 7 regions around the world, and they're broken down into country programs. And we have over 200 countries now. We started with that initial games that in 1968 that Bobby mentioned, with just 2 countries, the US and Canada, and we've grown to 200 now. And those countries have even further sliced up their programs on a local level, on a grassroots level. So your state programs, your city programs, your county programs, your village programs. We have over 6.5 million athletes and unified partners. So athletes have intellectual disabilities. Unified partners are their teammates that do not have intellectual disabilities. So we offer what we call unified sports, which is the opportunity for people with and without intellectual disabilities play, train, learn, and teach each other at the same time. Globally, in a non-COVID year, we have 114,000 competitions, which equals 315 competitions a day. So it's a lot to keep up with. And like I said, Bobby and I work at headquarters on the global level, so we're really mostly involved with the international competitions that happen with multiple countries that are involved. Again, we're sports and more, and so that more includes leadership, health, and education. Leadership, because you get so many leadership skills, everyone does who participates in sports, in terms of teamwork, setting goals, high achievement. And at Special Olympics, we believe that makes people good employees. And so we have programs to kind of help hone those leadership skills and hope that they lead to a pathway of meaningful employment. We have our education program in high schools and colleges where Special Olympics is embedded in the schools, and studies have shown that that helps create a better environment, a more positive environment, a more accepting environment for both the students, all of the students, and for the faculty. And plus, when young people really get immersed in inclusive work and inclusive environment, they take that with them through the rest of their life, into their daily work, into their community work, and into their jobs. We have a health program, of course, because you can't be an athlete and be unhealthy and compete at your best. So we are the largest provider of health services in the world for people with intellectual disabilities who often get ignored or not seen at all by healthcare providers. So Bobby, can you take us through some of our upcoming events?
The USA Games, Orlando, Florida, June 2022. Unified Cup Soccer, Detroit, Michigan, August 2022. World Winter Games, Kazakhstan, Russia, January 2023. World Games, Berlin, Germany, 2023.
Yeah, so I'm in charge of the international content collection, the photographers and the videographers on the ground. For the USA Games, I don't have as much responsibility because that's our Special Olympics North America program, and they have their own PhotoShelter platform where they can upload all the great pictures that they take, and then we can borrow them and use them as well. But because because we're headquartered in the USA, we do have a little bit of overlap. But for the other games and the other events that you see there, my team would make sure we have enough volunteers, staff, and if we need to pull in some local agencies to make sure that we have enough coverage so that everyone globally feels they have something to share on a local level. They can use what we get and what we share on PhotoShelter to share with the media, or they can create their own assets to use as they need to on their own platforms. In 2019 is when we really started using PhotoShelter as we were going into our World Games in Abu Dhabi, and we had close to 5,000 photographs, not even counting the videos that we uploaded and we were able to share. And we continue to use those almost on a daily basis as we are celebrating or, like, for example, looking forward to our next World Winter Games. We need some great photographs of athletes. As we're looking to our Summer Games in Berlin, we're definitely using those pictures that are in PhotoShelter to create some great content to get people excited about the Berlin Games in 2023. So as we said at the beginning of this webinar, this is about inclusive content sharing. Inclusivity means that everyone is able to participate to their full ability in a meaningful way. So it's not just being invited to the party, just to say, hey, we got somebody there, but it's also planning the party and making sure that people with various experiences and backgrounds can enjoy the party because there's something there that's speaking to them. So Bobby, for example, is a full member of our team. He's a Special Olympics athlete, but he's not there just to sit and look cute. He's there to get paid and do a job and to really contribute to the team. So that means that we need to have platforms like PhotoShelter and training for those platforms that take all ability levels into account. So when we're training folks, locally at headquarters or anywhere around the world, we want to make sure that everyone can understand how to upload photos, contribute photos, and download photos and share photos. So we always start with the PDFs and videos that PhotoShelter has put together. They're the experts in their own platform. We can't make something better than that. So I just cut and paste and share that with everyone so that they have something that they can refer to. Then we also have webinars. So webinars like this where Bobby might help as well, but it gives me an opportunity to train a large group of people all over the world in how we use PhotoShelter and the type of things that we're looking out for. What's been really great is Travis from the PhotoShelter team has joined us as well, and he's been able to answer questions that I can't answer. And so it's been a really great partnership in terms of the training and education that's provided. And, you know, there's always one-on-one training where there's new people or people who've never used it before in our organization. And so Bobby and I are always available to answer those questions, to have conversations with people to help them get started or help them get to the next level of wherever it is that they need to be. On that note, when we are training folks to be contributors, we like them to use these pre-approved keywords. They were approved by our legal team, and they represent the main themes that we find in our movement. And so that we ask that when contributors are uploading and tagging, that they use some of these keywords. And they don't have, I mean, they can also add keywords, but if anybody's looking for photographs, they can use this list. With our athletes, our colleagues with intellectual disabilities, if we give them this sheet when they're searching for photographs, then it cuts down the two-step thought process. And really for anyone who's looking for photographs, they can say, oh, here's a list of words that, and they can kind of like hone in on what it is that they're actually looking for. And it's a great starting point for searching for pictures. Of course, you can also search by folders. The first way that we start organizing our content is by year and event. So for 2023, the Berlin Games, we've already had some announcements and events around that. And so we've already started our 2023 folder, and anything that has to do with the Berlin Games can be found there. Our announcement videos, excuse me, pictures that people can use to make marketing materials, documents that kind of list where they can find things, when things are happening, schedules and like that can be found in the appropriate folder. We also have folders that have keywords. So at the top here, you'll see athletes. So if you want one-stop shop, just to see athletes and not, you know, pictures of just medals or some of our staff, then you can go there as well. So Bobby and I are going to talk a little bit about one of our workflows where we use PhotoShelter. I'm going to go through the general workflow, and then Bobby's going to take you through a specific case of content that he created. So on my content team, there's a few of us, and we have meetings with some of the communications leads on other teams, like our health, leadership, sports, education, that we'll all get together twice a month, look at the content calendar, make sure that shows what are our events coming up that we want to create content for, and what are some of the awareness days that we want to create content for so that we can join the discussion around those. For example, the International Day of Peace or International Family Day. So we'll take a look at those days and we'll start brainstorming different types of content that we think would resonate globally, or that at least has global representation, again, from our 7 regions. So it'll be easy to search PhotoShelter and, you know, see this picture's from Africa, this picture is from Asia Pacific, this picture's from East Asia, this picture is from Latin America, and we can make sure that we have at least one from each region that we can use in that particular piece of content that we think will go for that particular day. And in an example, you know, that we're going to use later will be Bobby. So I'll speak to making an assignment with Bobby. But once we decide what that content is, that would get assigned to somebody like Bobby. And, you know, he would make a folder, go to PhotoShelter with whatever the parameters are for that piece of content, find pictures, put them into a folder, and then give them to me for approval, and I can give a thumbs up or say, hey, this one doesn't work for whatever reason, Is there one like this? And once he has all the pictures together, he creates really great video montages for us that really are very beautiful and emotional. And once he gets the montage the way he likes it and in a way that he thinks all audiences will be able to understand it, he will give it back to me for approval. We'll talk through it, talk through the text. Bobby also makes sure that our text is plain language so that it's simple language that everyone can understand. And then either he or I might add some music to that as well. Take another look at it together. Once it's finalized and approved, we'll download it with the text. We might download one without text so that our local programs, wherever they are in the world, can add their own language captioning to it in their local language. And they can also go back to PhotoShelter and find pictures that they think resonate better in their region and replace some of those pictures without having to come back to us to do that work. So it really streamlines the process globally. Once it's shared, headquarters might use it on our social media platforms. You can check us out at Special Olympics. We might put it on the website with a story that gives some more context. We might share it with the media and any stories that they're doing around what we're doing to celebrate that day or that moment. And then again, the regions can use it as they see fit on their programs as well. So Bobby, would you like to talk through the recent International Volunteer Day montage that you worked on?
Sure. The way that I would start doing a montage is that I would go first to gallery, which is where the circle is. And then what I would do is I would type in a certain type of volunteers. And then once the volunteers come up, these are the pictures that will come up for volunteers. And so then what I do is when I click on a picture, and what will happen is it'll ask me if I want to download it into PhotoShelter. And then when I download it, it'll automatically go into what Cindy was saying about the montage. It'll go directly into the video editor. And then this is, then what will happen is I can drag the pictures into the folder. And then to move the pictures, you can just kind of like click and drag them into the bottom there. And then they can, you can kind of move them around to the way that you want it to be.
Yeah, and then what are some of the things that you can add on here? So it's not just.
Yeah, you could add music, you could add text, you could add motions to your pictures, you could have pictures move. So there's lots of different things that you could do with it, depending on what the situation is and all. So.
Yeah, and Bobby's gotten really fast and really great with thinking through the creative. He comes up with nice little title graphics as well. And again, you can see these pictures. These are the pictures he used in the actual International Day montage that we'll be sharing on December 5th, again, at Special Olympics is our handle. But it's finished, and we've been able to share it with the region so they can start preparing it. And then also, if you are following along with us today on Slack, we can have Jeremy on the PhotoShelter team drop the link into the chat so that you can check out Bobby's International Volunteer Day montage, which came out really good, and we're really excited to share it on December 5th. And again, just wanted to thank the team from PhotoShelter for having us here today, and we look forward to answering any questions if there are any questions.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. I know that we at PhotoShelter have had a little bit of a preview of that, but that was so wonderful. And I just learned so much more than I did yesterday. That was fantastic. Thank you guys. Thank you both.
Welcome, you're welcome.
Sure.
Let me just go ahead and start sharing my screen really quick. Okay. All right, so we do have some questions that came in through the live chat channel on Slack. Again, I just want to direct everyone's attention really quickly, if you're not already on there, to just go ahead and hop in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. I know Sydney and Bobby would love to hear some questions. First of all, really quickly, we did get one question on GoToWebinar that asked, does PhotoShelter work with Adobe programs like Photoshop or Adobe Premiere? And do you need to download the content from PhotoShelter to your computer first? Just quickly answering that, you don't need to download the content to your computer with the Adobe Creative Cloud connector integration with PhotoShelter, actually. You can locate your library and drag files straight from your PhotoShelter library right into your Premiere file. So similarly to how Bobby creates the video montages with the PhotoShelter assets and all of the video montages, you can do the same in the Adobe programs. Not Premiere yet, but coming soon. I first, to just get right back to you both, I wanted to know a little bit about how and when you started to work together, because I know the last time that we spoke, Sydney, you mentioned that you had just started at Special Olympics a year ago, which now seems,
It's 3 years ago.
3 years ago, sorry, 3 years ago. But you had only just started working with Robert in the past.
We've always been on the same team. So when I started, he was already on the communications team and I joined him, but he in the last year has been directly on my team. So he was on the communications team, I was on the communications team, and now he's on the content team with the staff that reports to me.
And what was that first project or program you were working together on? International Global Messengers?
Bobby, do you remember?
The global message. I know.
We
Not
worked
sure.
so much. One of the things I think, Bobby, when I came, I was new. We were doing the 50th anniversary, and you were working on the 50th anniversary coloring book.
Yeah, I was working on. I did 2 coloring books, and so I did one for the 50th anniversary, and that was, I think, unveiled in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was, it was later in the year, but the biggest one was the 50th anniversary coloring book, which was pretty cool.
So Bobby is our resident artist, and he does great photographs. I mean, great pictures. If you give him a theme and tell him what you want, he will draw it for you. I don't know if you can see his pen. He designed the 2019 World Games in Abu Dhabi. A pen just for that was really popular, and it remains one of our most popular pens.
I got one. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is there.
Yeah.
That is so amazing.
We gave Jeremy the link to PhotoShelter where we've started collecting some of Bobby's his drawings. So Bobby, what was the inspiration for that particular pen?
I think it was they wanted something to give out to athletes, and also the other one was the WWE. I did also kind of like a wrestling belt that was also a pin, and they were actually really rare because all these pins, and they all went really quickly, like within 5 minutes, because all the athletes loved them, and they were gone. So they're kind of like a collector's item. And as a matter of fact, and Sydney, I don't know if you have this, but in Abu Dhabi, the people that were doing the commentary, I guess it was, they were also wearing the pins. And not only that, some of the celebrities that were there were wearing the pins also. Just like in different types of situations, I saw, like wrestlers wearing, the type of pin just to kind of have something to show. And I even got one on here now, but just to kind of show that, what Special Olympics is and stuff like that. But yeah, it was really fun to do. And I don't know. I mean, I hope to do more in the future because there was, it seemed to get a lot of rise out of athletes, especially there in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East that, probably haven't seen pins or, don't have that one anyway.
Yeah.
Right. That's so cool. I mean, the commemorative pin aspect and the fact that you're designing them is, I feel like, so cool just to be able to have your hands in so many different elements of the way the work goes, being an athlete, serving the athletes with this art, and really creating something that's just for the community and such like an interactive element for the community to connect with is so cool. I also know that you hosted an art show at the headquarters. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. I did an art show, and my boss at that time, her name was Megan Gossamel, and she set up an art show, and so they had like all my artwork in in one of the break rooms that we have, and so it had like flags and it had like all kinds of different pictures, and people just really loved it. They thought it was really good, and it was just kind of something that kind of cool to see for everybody to see because I think people know I kind of do art,
Yeah.
and so I always do it for like our department, but it's always kind of nice for other people to see it because I feel like if it's out there, then that kind of gives me inspiration to kind of do even more, but at a to get people's ideas and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I am so I love that so much. I wonder if we can get a glimpse of some of that artwork over the years, aside from the pin artwork. I'm so curious, and I look forward to seeing any kind of holiday art that you create this year together. Um, I know that we had a question come in on the submission form over the past week, and one was for the both of you. Does anyone read or write Braille, or has technology kind of replaced that with audio recordings and captioning? Can you tell me a little bit about accessibility and how you create those kind of guides and opportunities for team members?
Yeah, so we have on our team, on our communications team, an athlete named Ben Collins, who we got to shout out Ben for winning a couple of medals this weekend at the Maryland State Games for powerlifting. And
Awesome.
he has sight impairment, so he uses the JAWS system that helps him hear his work, when the emails come in and whatnot. He can also make his screen text a lot bigger. And he's got a Braille machine, so he puts all of our names under our name tags where you can see them visually. They're also in Braille. He makes two, one so we can bring one home and we can learn our own names in Braille, and then he puts one up as well. And then our website team really has done a lot of good work. Shout out to Brian Gresham for the accessibility features on our website that include different color texts for different types of sight impairments. Making sure things are in plain text so that they're easy to read and comprehend, and audio features as well, so that if you can't read it at all, you can listen and get descriptions.
That's fantastic. Did you consult with him, or how did you develop that as a team? Like what would
Um,
be best for yeah.
Yeah, we don't work with the back end of the website as much. I know that he did consult with Ben, the colleague we just mentioned, and a lot of the colleagues around the office that have intellectual disabilities. And then we were just excited, or at least I was. I don't know, Bobby, did you work with Brian on that at all?
no, No, not that part.
Yeah, so when he really, like, we knew he was working on it, but when he rolled it out, it was really exciting.
That is so cool. I know, I mean, accessibility needs to be number one. It should just be, a normal thing that everybody, that we offer, that anyone offers on the web. You never know, how that is improving other people's lives, and really just speaking to them. So, and including them, I really feel like that's incredible to learn from, and a really important learning as well.
It benefits us as well because if our colleagues and athletes around the world can react and give us their feedback and what they'd like to see and what's working, what's not working, then it makes our work better. It makes it more accessible. It makes it more interesting. It makes our work easier because we don't have to try to figure things out when you go to the source of the people that we're trying to represent. And in Bobby's case and Ben's case, and a lot of people's cases that we work with, it's empowering the athletes to tell their own stories.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the whole point of what we're kind of talking about here today is, having agency over the way that your story is shared. What is your favorite part about your job? I know that Robert, you've been with the communications team and the content team in Special Olympics for over 20 years, competing and
Yeah.
also on the team. So what's your favorite, part of your role and being a part of the community?
Well, I have to say a lot of my artwork that I do, I think that's a big part of it. Now, I didn't mention this before, but I have done artwork for different celebrities too. I did artwork for Marie McCormick, aka Marsha Brady. I've done artwork for a couple of WWE wrestlers that I just recently did one for this one wrestler. His name is Drew McIntyre. He's a Special Olympics Special Olympics athlete, youth ambassador
And that's
for
all,
us.
yeah.
And so I did a wrestling belt for him. And so he and actually there's also a picture I think on PhotoShelter of him receiving the picture that I did for him. I think was that in Missouri? Sydney, do you know?
I'm not sure where it
Or what
was,
that
but I
was?
know a picture is in PhotoShelter, and we like made it kind of into a plaque, and you can see he was tearing up when he received it.
Wow.
Um,
I want to be able to
but
get that.
well, what I was gonna say is, I mean, there's that, but then also just kind of kind of just um, kind of working with different people throughout throughout Special Olympics. I work with Sydney quite a bit. Like I said, Megan Gossamel, she uh, I've done pictures for her. I mean, I've done pictures for Tim Shriver of all people, and they just seem to love it, and so I think, I don't know. I mean, I guess the biggest part of my job is to um, kind of do pictures, but at the same time, just kind of spread joy. I mean, I don't know how to kind of really
Well,
describe
yeah.
it.
And then Bobby, Larissa, you had mentioned the International Global Messengers because I know we talked about that in our prep meeting. We have our Sergeant Shriver, International Global Messengers. They're named after Sergeant Shriver, who started this program, the husband of Eunice Kennedy Shriver. We have one from each region for a total of 4 years, work as spokespeople on behalf of the organization and the movement. And they all came to DC in 2018, Bobby, 2019?
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
18, I believe. It's been so
yeah.
long ago.
And we had some media training with them since they'd be
Oh,
speaking on
wow.
behalf. And Bobby, what we tapped you to do something.
Yeah, we were doing media training, and I was doing interviews, I think, with one of the athletes, and I was asking like certain questions and stuff, just to kind of get them prepared, because usually for the Sergeant Shriver global messengers, they, you're in front of media and you're doing stuff, and so they want you to be prepared. So if you have to answer something about Special Olympics, you kind of know what to say. And so they were, we were asking questions at that time, and so Sydney was there, and so she thought I asked questions really well. So ever since then, I've been kind of moved in, I guess you could say, in a way
Yeah,
of.
he's become a producer. So
Yeah.
he had
Kind of.
one really big video for National, what is it, ND, National Disability Employment Awareness Month a couple of years ago, where he interviewed our CEO, Mary Davis, and that's up on the website. And it served as an example of what other organizations could do with different types of staff doing those kind of leader to leader interviews. And then, as I mentioned before, to celebrate Eunice Kennedy Shriver's 100, what would have been her 100th birthday year, Bobby designed, conceptualized these videos, quick 1-2 minute videos where he asked different people questions that he wrote down, he developed, so that we can get the best answers. And we cut the questions out, so it just looks like that person is talking to camera.
Right.
But it's just a skill that we saw that Bobby had, an interest that he had, something that we could develop and work with him. And he's just really used that opportunity to grow himself and to really move forward in what he's doing. And I wanted to also add, Bobby pretty much taught himself how to do the video montages with the pictures.
Well, I taught myself how to do the montage, but I also kind of taught myself a little bit of doing PhotoShelter as well, but more of the montage, because I just took like a day or two, and I just kind of played around with it. And by the time I got done, I was like, I did like a whole montage at Special Olympics. Like I had like from 97 all the way up till now. And I showed it to Sydney, and she was kind of impressed with what I could do with it. And to learn that quickly, I was always a fast learner, but to learn that quickly though, I mean, it's, I felt like I was in a pretty good shape.
That's so impressive. I was going to ask, do you have any tips? I myself am just getting started on video editing, and I have a hard time with transitions. What tips do you have for someone who wants to get started there in graphic design, especially video?
Well, I mean, I guess the best tip would be never give up, because I feel like, you like me, I just kind of started plugging away at it, and I managed to figure everything out. I would say just kind of maybe take a day or two out and just kind of, if you go into a montage, just kind of look at things and kind of play around with stuff, even if it's just a picture, or do kind of like a dummy montage. It's not that you're going to send it to anybody, but just kind of try it and see, and just kind of mess around with the pictures. And you can put them in different orders, like you're telling a story, or you could put music behind it, background music, or you could customize it to your type of music that you want to put in there. But yeah, I mean, you could do like different events, you could do all kinds of different things. And but yeah, I mean, just kind of keep on plugging away. I mean, it'll get to you eventually. I mean, it took me a while, and of course, with Sydney, I had to learn pretty quickly because things were flying at me pretty fast. So I had no choice but to kind of speed up the process a little bit, but that's okay.
Thanks so much for the advice. I really appreciate that. Those are great tips too for anyone who wants to get started in video editing. I feel like all of those ancillary ways that you can also make the video or the content mean more, like with music or voiceover or even captions.
Yeah.
Those are great ideas. And Sydney, I guess another question that I was thinking about. was what is kind of the first step when you're expanding like accessibility to trainings? What's like the first step that you can take as an employer or a team leader to kind of expand the best practices and the guides for people of all abilities to be able to be included in the storytelling?
Yeah, so I think the first step is to create a team that you can work with or can review the work that will be using the accessibility features to make sure, or presenting accessibility features to make sure that they're actually working and speaking to the folks who need them to understand them. So, you know, you can't figure everything out on your own, and that's fine. And so really, work on creating that team that can help support you in that way. And then the second thing I would say is, carve out a little bit of time to talk to the team, to make sure that everybody's on board, to make sure that you're listening, enough time to listen and to ask questions and to listen again. I think, we want to rush a lot. Like Bobby said, we're a fast moving team, but we do like to leave time to prepare and to ask the questions so that the job gets done well. And then we're going to move quickly. Once we take that time, we're going to move quickly on to the next thing.
Yeah. And about that fast pace, I guess a follow-up question is, you mentioned that in a non-COVID year, so in the before times years, as everybody's saying, the before times, you have over 114,000 competitions, meaning 315 competitions a day across the country or world. That's amazing. But how, as a team working in headquarters, how do you focus on those, I guess, key landmark events where there are multiple countries and regional teams involved? And then how do you create, I guess, how do you hone in on those specific ones? You mentioned kind of creating that calendar of awareness days and events that that align with your core purpose as an organization. But how many events of those 110 are you really focusing on at any given time or
Yeah,
strategizing
so
around?
generally, I mean, our hallmark events, which are our Special Olympics World Games that happen in the summer, those are every 4 years. Our Special Olympics Winter World Games that are every 4 years. And we have some other international games like our Unified Cup, which is a soccer, also known as football, game invitational. We have our dance sport. We've had our first dance sport this year, really small, and it had to be regional competition. And we've had, like international tennis invitationals. So, it just depends on the year, but it could be, four or five major. We're working on beach games as well. It could be 4 or 5 major ones a year. The regional ones, we really work with the regions to get the stories and the assets for that region. So again, if East Asia has the East Asian Games, or East Asia and Asia Pacific work together for an all Asia Games, then we will work with them. They'll give us what they think are the highlights and best stories. When you're talking about your local events, so like if Kenya has an event in East Nairobi, the East Nairobi Special Olympics group, or if they have an event in a school, that won't necessarily filter up to us unless there's something really big and something really new, something really special that really is of global interest. And then the team in Kenya will let the Africa team know, and then they'll let us know. And we'll work together again on getting that story out.
I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I remember you kind of going over those large events, how you cover large events overall. So that kind of just helps connect a little bit more.
Yeah, and one of the great things about PhotoShelter is the two-way sharing. So the regions can share information with us in the world on PhotoShelter, and we can share information with them, and then they can share it with their programs as well. So it's a two-way conversation through PhotoShelter in terms of, you know, sharing those assets that we might either just want to collect or we might want to use to share down the road. And if I could just say one more thing, because, you know, Bobby mentioned moving fast. And again, we do want to take the time to prepare everyone. And we find that everyone, doesn't matter their ability, is better prepared if, for example, you go over the agenda. If everybody can understand the agenda, then everyone can contribute ideas and feedback in a meaningful way during the meeting. And so we try to remove that bar of low expectations. So, you know, some folks would say, well, you know, athletes with intellectual disabilities, why is Sydney pushing them to move fast? And I'm not pushing anybody any faster to move than what they can do, but I have expectations that you're going to work to your best ability and at your best rate. And so, you know, I've seen what Bobby can do, and I've been told what Bobby can do. So when it was time for him to learn a new platform, there was no reason for me to say, Bobby, take all the time in the world that you need, because you can just take all the time. You know, he's here, he's doing a job, he's being paid to do a job, and we have deadlines. And so, you know, Bobby can figure things out, and Bobby can also ask for help just like everybody else does. So I just wanted to bring up, just wherever we go in whatever arena we are in, the crippling effects of low expectations. And when that is flipped on its head to high expectations, that not only the individual who we've had those low expectations for can really fly and soar and shine, but we all can. I mean, the amount of pictures and videos and feedback that Bobby has created is like invaluable. It's invaluable. And so, you know, why would I give that up? Or why would I give Bobby another year to get that great stuff to me when I could be sharing it out with the world?
Definitely, definitely. I was going to say the capabilities, meeting abilities, you know, that whole philosophy, and also just meeting the challenge where you are as a team. I feel like that's like really your kind of approach as a leader, and I really appreciate that. You know, you're constantly not just striving for everybody to connect and understand, but really to understand how people, where their abilities actually are, and creating those challenges so they can meet them. So we so appreciate our time with you today, and really you sharing how you're actually working together, and what you both bring to the table, and your specific unique talents. I have a couple of photos that you did send, so I just wanted to share a couple of these. And I wanted to, we're now coming up on the end of our questions. I believe that was the last question we had on our list here, but I don't want to deter anyone from continuing to ask questions in the Slack live chat channel. You can mention Sydney and Robert. I don't know if we got you a login for Slack, but we should get you in there, because I'm sure people have plenty of questions for you too. So after we end this call, I'll go ahead and send you that invite. But
Sure.
please, if you both have time in the next like couple of days or week or today, I know that there will probably be some questions in there for you. So don't stop
Also,
questions.
if you have any questions for Bobby in the meantime, you can send them to me, and I can make sure that he gets an opportunity to answer them.
Right, absolutely. Okay, and so lastly, do you have any other updates or upcoming events or creative stories that we should look out for, that you want to let the audience know today?
At the end of the year, look out for our holiday video. It always ends with one of Bobby's drawings, so definitely visit us at the end of the year. If you haven't been to the website, we have lots of great stories and content at specialolympics.org. And again, you can follow us on social media, and our handle is @SpecialOlympics.
Thank you so much. We will be sharing all of those links in the live chat very shortly. And I quickly just wanted to wrap up and let everyone know that, again, we do have a free trial coming up, actually available for you right now. We have a channel in Slack right now. So if you're in there, if you just go at the top of channels and click the plus sign to browse channels, you can search for a free trial. In that channel, we're discussing a bit about what we're offering today. So if you don't have a PhotoShelter for Brands account, we want to help you get into this community. We want to share our resources and our tools with you, and we would love to just help you expand your visual storytelling capabilities and reach all of the audiences and get the support that you deserve, like Special Olympics and plenty of other of our clients have thus far. If that link or QR code rather doesn't work for you to get into the free trial channel, please do take a screenshot of this slide and feel free to email my colleague Rachel Brown at rbrown@photoshelter.com to get started. We appreciate you being here today, and we appreciate you, Sydney and Bobby. Thank you so much for sharing with us your work and your philosophies today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Have a good rest of your week. Talk to you soon.